if you still don't understand why Western powers have tried to eliminate the leader of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, not once, not twice, but 18 times, then let me put it in the language the world understands best: money and power. This is not just about one man. This is about a continent rising. This is about the end of exploitation and the beginning of something historic. For years, Burkina Faso was sitting on gold-drilled gold. Foreign corporations came in and dug it out. They paid the country about $1 billion a year for it. Sounds fair, right? But here's the truth. That same gold was being sold on international markets for 10, 20, sometimes 30 times more. Burkina Faso was being looted in daylight, and the world called it business. Then came a young military captain, only 35 years old. His name Ibrahim Traoré. He looked at the books, he looked at his people living in poverty, and he said, enough. Within months of taking back control of those gold mines, the country made $18 billion. Yes, you heard that right, 18 billion in months, from the same mines that once made only one. That's not reform, that's revolution. Most presidents are hidden behind armored cars and gated mansions. Not Traoré. He rides motorcycles on newly built roads. He's seen walking through construction sites with a wheelbarrow in hand, not for a photo op but because he believes in working with his people, not ruling over them. He slashed ministers' salaries by 30%. Increased public sector wages by 50%, refused to take a presidential salary. That's not politics, that's leadership, and that's why they fear him. In Europe, people are sharing his speeches. In the US, black communities are calling him the president they wish they had. Even white Americans are comparing their own leaders to Traoré, asking why someone thousands of miles away seems more connected to his people than those in Washington or Paris. At the 2023 Russia-Africa summit, Traoré stood up and asked, how is it that Africa, with all its water, sun, and land, is still the poorest continent on earth? That one line cut through the noise like a blade, and it lit a fire. Under Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso kicked out French troops. They left, not politely, not diplomatically. They were told, your time is over. Burkina Faso left a coup. The so-called Economic Community of West African States, together with Mali and Niger, they formed a new alliance, the Alliance of Sahel States. An alliance based not on begging the West, but on defending their own sovereignty. This was the line in the sand, and they didn't just cheer from afar. When the West accused Traoré of misusing gold funds, people knew what that meant. They remembered what happened to Sankara. So they came out in thousands, in Ouagadougou, in Lagos, in Bamako, in London, in New York. They held signs, hands off Traoré, Africa for Africans. When rumors of a coup surfaced, citizens didn't run. They slept outside government buildings, forming human shields with their bodies. A protester said it best, if they want Traoré, they'll have to come through us first. This isn't just speeches and symbols. Under Traoré, the country has built its first gold refinery. He's constructing state-owned pharmaceutical factories, dairy plants, and food production centers. Not with foreign debt, but with resources taken back from foreign control. He's showing that Africa doesn't need saving, it needs freedom. Part 7. Why the West is panicking. 9:30. Here's what scares the West the most. Traoré is not begging for aid. He's not selling contracts to the highest foreign bidder. He's talking to Russia, Cuba, Turkey, and other non-Western nations on his terms, not theirs. He's building roads with African labor. He's educating children with African funds. He's defending land with African soldiers. They can't control him. They can't bribe him. And that makes him dangerous. Not to his people, but to the system. Part 8. The Global Awakening. 11:10 in London. They're chanting his name. In New York, murals of his face are appearing in neighborhoods. On TikTok, his speeches are being translated into Spanish, Arabic, and even Mandarin. Black Americans see in him the spirit of Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. Africans see in him the legacy of Sankara, Lumumba, and Nkrumah, and the world is starting to see that something is changing. Africa is no longer a victim. Africa is a rising flame, and Ibrahim Traoré is carrying the torch. Conclusion to 12:30+. So let me ask you again, why have there been 18 attempts to take this man down? Because one man with vision, courage, and the will to act is more dangerous to the empire than 1,000 protest signs. They can assassinate leaders, but they can't kill a movement. Traoré's revolution is in motion. It's powered by people, fueled by justice, and protected by a continent that's ready to fight back. So to those watching from abroad, from Africa, from the diaspora, from the streets of Brooklyn to the shores of Accra, the question is not what will he do next. The question is, will you stand with him? Will you stand with Africa? Because history is happening, and this time Africa is writing it.